on live. Hey, how you guys doing? This is KLA Cloud the Wanderer. I'm here with a special guest. Her name is Sonya Brielle King. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm cool. I'm all right. Just dealing with the weather. It's hot.
Oh, yeah, it's a scorcher today.
Yeah. How was your day?
It was actually a really great day today. Um, I had an impromptu photo shoot. I met a designer of swimsuits at the gym, and we clicked really well. And I think she's amazing, so I really wanted to support her. And so we set up a quick photo shoot. So she came over, and we did that, and then I got pushed back with my gym routine a little bit.
Oh, okay. Right. What's that's like doing like a photo shoot?
It's really something kind of new for me. I've done one photo shoot before, which was awesome, and then this one was amazing. We came over just to my apartment complex and just went around in the gardens and the pool area. And then a fellow competitor is a friend of mine who came as well. And then we just had a blast just shooting, modeling the bikinis, and she designs these really unique swimsuits, and a lot of them are like two sided, and they're kind of fun, kind of Miami vibes too, which I really like.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, how you got into bodybuilding?
So I've kind of been on a long health and fitness journey. I guess it would start probably back in 2016. I just kind of was an athlete all my life growing up, and then I would play soccer. That was my main sport. And then actually got injured in high school, back to back years consecutively. I tore my left ACL meniscus, and then I tore my right ACL meniscus, MCL, and patella. So my soccer dreams were kind of squandered at that point. I had two leg braces. I was trying to run, and I kind of looked like a duck trying to run. Uh,
Uh,
so I've always had a dream of becoming like a professional athlete. And then once life kind of got in the way, I focused on my career, went to college. I had gained some weight because I wasn't really watching what I was eating. I didn't really have to when I was younger because I just burned it off with soccer. So then I started to kind of be unhappy with how I was. I wasn't feeling very well. I didn't have as much energy as I was used to having. And so I knew something had to change. I started trying to just go to the gym and make small changes. Okay, like cut out some soda. I used to love Dr. Pepper, so okay, cool it on that a little bit, and just make smart changes. And that started sort of in 2016. I took some photos, and I was like, okay, it's going to start my journey. um, and then I just started to eat healthier. And then after that, when I went into my higher education, I then did a lot of research on utilizing food as medicine and how that can really impact you as well. And so that really put me to a next level, I would say, because I kind of got into the gym, and then but my food wasn't sort of as on point as it should have been. Um,
yeah.
and then I started to kind of refine that a bit and put both pieces together, and then I started seeing a lot of changes in my physique. And then actually, I just started posting because I wanted to really be an advocate for what I was experiencing and how much it changed my life. I wanted to really help others do that as well. And so, one of my actually college roommates reached out to me on Instagram and said, "Hey, you should maybe consider competing. You'd be perfect for a bikini. You kind of have the look already with your physique." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I never really thought about that." I'd seen some bodybuilders in the gym, but I was like, "Oh yeah, they're jacked. I don't know if I if I could ever do that." Um, but after just some taking some time to work on it and then start to train like a bodybuilder. So I used to always do biceps because I love biceps, but that's not necessarily what you need for bikini shape. So I just had to learn how to change what I was doing as far as my weightlifting to kind of really modify for that. because I used to just love doing HIIT exercises, things like that, getting my like heart pumping and sweating and feeling really good and active with that. And then so she actually became my coach. That's Alexandra Bryant. She competes as well, and she has her own coaching business also. And so she really sort of introduced me to the sport of it. And I'm really so thankful for that and grateful for her, because I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing now if it wasn't for her. Um, we had a really good relationship. And then she took me through my first prep, and she did all of my like nutrition and posing and all of that. And then we did our own sort of routine as far as fitness goes and what I was doing in the gym. And my boyfriend, he was a personal trainer, so he helped me sort of learn how to lift specifically for bodybuilding style. So then we started educating ourselves, and I really became a student of the sport, because that's something that's really important to me. Anything that I'm trying to do or accomplish, I want to understand it, all the way down to the microscopic level of what I can do to optimize myself and to really learn about it. So I understand what I'm doing, because I'm not a person to just listen to what somebody else says. I need to know why I'm doing something, which I think is super important for anyone. So, because I believe education is really the foundation for sustainability. Because if you
Yes.
understand why you're doing something, then you're like, okay, this is why I'm doing it. So you have more propensity to continue to do that. Um, and so I competed, and then I qualified for nationals. I did the Southern USA competition in Orlando. And then after that, I got some judges' feedback because I wanted to see what I needed to work on. So I was looking around at the competitor, and I was like, wow, everyone looks beautiful. How can I continue to advance in this sport? And most of my feedback was that I had great stage presence, but that I needed to come in a little bit tighter and leaner and maybe focus on building out the specific areas that they look for, glutes, and make sure your shoulders as well. So I started to then take a little step back and need to make some lifestyle changes. So then that way I could really focus on this journey. I was in a very high intensity job that required a lot of my attention. And there were times where I was working 2 weeks in a row and I would only have 2 days off. So that was really hard on my schedule. I was getting up at 4 a.m. consistently, and not getting home till late and on call all the time. So I really struggled with being able to maintain that lifestyle. So I wanted to make a change that was more suited for the lifestyle that I wanted to pursue. So that's exactly what I did. Decided to leave that job, which I learned so much from it. So I am very grateful for having that experience. I was a pain management specialist. So I'm a nurse practitioner, and I did such amazing things with that, but we were just so short staffed, unfortunately, that it just became, unbearable for me. So then I decided to sort of take a step back from that and kind of reevaluate where I wanted to go. The nice thing about the medical field, and especially with being a nurse practitioner or even a nurse, there's so many specialties out there that you can pick and choose from, to kind of suit what you're interested in and where you're wanting to go with your life to have a better work-life balance. Um, and so I wound up getting a job at Ideal Image. And so I work for them as an aesthetic nurse practitioner. So I do different, it's like a med spa, if you will. So we do different medical procedures to help with like weight loss, and we do different things like body sculpting. And the people who come there are usually very positive, which is very nice for me. Where I was beforehand, I was dealing with a lot of sick people who it was a lot of negativity. And unfortunately, in that arena, especially being in the hospital, there were a lot of people who just didn't want to get better. And
Mm.
so I didn't feel as purposeful in what I was doing, which that's really
Mm.
important to me. So now I feel like the services that I provide to people are wanted, and they want my knowledge and education, and they value what I bring to the table. So I really enjoy that because I meet so many different people who are looking to improve their life in any capacity, usually with, weight loss or trying to build some muscle, and they're trying to take care of themselves. And that really resonates with me. So I'm very happy in my job now. And that also allows me to have a better schedule. So I could work, 3 to 4 to 4.5 days a week. And then the other days, I'm able to then focus on the gym and my own clients as well, because I do coaching and nutrition counseling. I'm sort of like a lifestyle medicine, meaning your food as medicine and exercise as well to reverse and prevent chronic disease. So that's really important to me and allows me to kind of do all the things that I enjoy.
No, that was a lot on what you telling me, but I got everything. I didn't mean to say it that way.
No.
It's because I mean I seen I went to your IG page, and you was an aesthetic nurse,
Mhm.
and just dealing with that, how do you how did you like try to deal with like people like that being negative and stuff?
Um, it was really hard because I typically am a very positive person. And so when I try to come in to the, whatever patient experience, and I'm met with, anger or people who are frustrated, and oftentimes just kind of wanting, we have a bad pill culture, I think, in
Yeah,
our society, just wanting a pill to fix something, which is not what I believe in. So I just kind of felt like I was just contributing to the problem more so than
right,
actually being it. Um, and so I did my best as I could to try to help people and give them alternatives. And so I tried to also evaluate and ask them, what are they going through? Because you don't know what someone else is going through in their life. What, why
right,
are they in a bad mood? So I usually try to sort of ask them, are you okay? Or what do you need at home? Or do you need help with things? And then just kind of taking a step back usually helps them kind of open up a little bit. And then that would improve the situation a little bit. Um, but that was, few and far between where I was able to kind of connect and help people in that way. Some would listen to me, and as far as, a lot of times, even with chronic pain, exercising and then being able to modify your diet can actually really improve those symptoms. But it's whether or not, the patient wants to do that for themselves.
right. So like in other words, it's like nutrition is very important because it'll put you like in certain situations you don't want to be in. Yeah, I
Exactly.
understand you're not. I understand you're a vegan too.
Yes, yes, I am. I went through my own health journey with gaining the weight, and then I was looking in my higher education. I did a lot of research because when you have to do your own research project to get your doctorate, and so I chose to do mine on nutrition specifically, and I did basically preventing the freshman 15. Because to me, that's a very vulnerable population. You're leaving your parents for the first time, making your own decisions. You're in kind of a melting pot of different cultures, depending on where you go for college. So there's so many different choices that you can make. And unfortunately, the way our education system is set up, we don't have a lot of foundational education with nutrition and how we should be eating.
Right.
So I really felt like that was a deficit. And so I wanted to address that. And so when I was researching and doing all of my research with that, a lot of what I found, I read the book Blue Zones. Um, and that references around the world people who live to be 100 years or greater, and what their lifestyle is, what are they eating, why do they live this long, and largely it was because they were plant-based. And so in addition, my mentor for and my program director at FGCU, Dr. Downs, she was plant-based. And then I also did a rotation in cardiology with Dr. Brian Tashner, and he is also plant based. And so, as I continued in my higher education, I kept meeting these people who were all plant based, and I'm like, there's
Yeah.
something with that. So I listened to them, and then I did more of my own research on it, and Then I also watched the movie Game Changers, and of course, you have to be mindful because anything in media there can be biases and things, of course. But after that, it just really opened my eyes. There was one particular part where they showed your blood and after you consumed animal products versus non-animal products. It made like a burritos. They had athletes consume them, and these were like football players, and they're like professional athletes. So they made like a bean burrito versus a like chicken burrito, different things like that, and you could directly see the impact on the blood. So you could see how cloudy the blood was for those who consumed the animal products versus the plant-based products, their blood was clear. And so that was a very eye-opening moment for me because I could directly see how the saturated fat and cholesterol and all of that, how that impacted you directly after eating a meal, and how long that stayed in there. And so after that, I kind of decided to do an experiment on myself, if you will. And I was like,
Mm,
okay, I'll take the next few months and see, and I'll start to make changes going more towards plant-based and see how I feel with it. Because I wanted to see if it could help me because having the knee surgeries, I have joint pain. And so I always had a little bit of limited range of motion with my knees after surgery and difficulties with that. And as I gained weight, I noticed it was worse.
mm.
Um, and then, so I wanted to see how this would impact that particular pain and then also my recovery. Because I did a lot of the research showed that it should enhance your recovery and ability to perform as well. So I was all about, any kind of advantage I could get to keep making progress. And after 3 months, I felt great. And my knees didn't hurt as much. And over time, I started to improve with my fitness goals. For instance, I did a like a plank, and the plank when I started at like 1 minute, just trying to be able to work on that.
What's a plank? What?
When you're on your you're on your forearms, and then you're holding yourself in a plank position, and
Um,
you're straight up like this. So your forearms, you're just kind of the ground is here, and you're like this, and you're holding
okay.
that position. It's called a plank. Um, and so that's a lot of like core strength. But to hold it, usually a lot of people can only do like 30 seconds
I
to a
think I
minute.
know what you're talking about. I think so. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So a
just.
lot of people,
Yeah.
yeah, they can only do like a few, seconds to minutes. I actually went up to 10 minutes and I recorded
Mm.
it. So I improved vastly with my ability for endurance and recovery. And so to me, I was just like, okay, I guess we're going to keep on with this then. And as I continued, I had to kind of learn how to also do like more whole foods because you can be a junk food vegan, which isn't healthy.
Yeah.
There's so many products out there. And so that's why I also like to really emphasize that it's like whole foods, plant based as well. Because sometimes people have negative connotations around the word vegan. I don't necessarily, but people do as far as that goes. And I'm like, no, I use it in a way that I use very clean products. I think minimal processing is so important. And as much as you can make at home is best. And if you think about it, the healthiest things for you don't have a label on them. If you think about a stalk of broccoli, it doesn't have to tell you how healthy it is for you. It's this
Yeah.
big stalk of broccoli. Um, and so that sort of I just kind of continued on that path, and everything was just a positive feedback system with it. The more I went with it, the better I felt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I try to do like the plant based, like in the supermarket. I picked up like I think chicken, but I don't know. It tasted horrible. I didn't really enjoy it. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie to you.
it took
Like,
me like a year to figure it out.
yeah, I mean, like with vegans, they don't eat cheese and meat, dairy products at all, right?
Correct.
Yeah, because I have a friend. I think I read about it, and I know a friend that he's an actor, and he's a vegan. He doesn't eat certain foods. He stay away from and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't eat meat or dairy products and stuff, and I'd be like, yo, how do you do that, man? Like, because I try to be a vegetarian, like years back, and because it's funny you said that because this was like in my 20s, and I went to go get a checkup, and the doctor he was like, for a person your age, your cholesterol is very high. So,
Mm,
I would try to do a research and stuff and try to eliminate certain foods. But then, people I know, like my family members or friends, they was kind of getting on me about me losing weight, real skinny and stuff like that. And so, I kind of slowly, went back to meat. Like I'll eat chicken, stay away from beef and stuff like that. I mean, I was getting used to it,
yeah.
but it was like, I don't know. It's like I always had to be cautious of what I'm eating and stuff. I mean, it's important because, you're going to get fat, overweight and stuff like that and get sluggish, but, I'm still kind of, trying to improve on certain things. I'm learning, if I could say that.
Yes, it's a big learning curve. And that's why I feel like I've gone through the process myself. So that's why I love sharing my experience with people and being able to help them go through their own. Because likely I've tried whatever you're trying to try, and I know what's good, what's not so good, what's like, tastes good, what do not buy. Like you'll throw it right out.
Yeah.
And then
Mm.
eventually, I worked at a Vibrant Beat lifestyle center, and I did lifestyle medicine with Dr. Sal Lacanita, and he's a concierge medicine specialist. And we also had a kitchen there. It was a whole facility. So there was a gym, we had personal trainers, there was a kitchen, and we were producing food. And so I was helping with the macros of the food we were producing. We were producing ready to serve meals that were plant based to help people. So in that way, they didn't have to figure it out. We just gave it to them, and they knew they were eating food that was healthy for them. And I would prescribe that to people using their food as the medicine, which was really cool experience to have because we're all in one facility. I would do my nutrition counseling, and I would walk people over to the kitchen, and I would help them pick out the meals that were best suited for them. And then it's kind of like as a starter for them, then they can learn to make these things at home. But it's a lot of it is a big learning curve in how to do that.
Do you have like a YouTube channel, like for like cook, like to prepare meals, or a book or anything like that, or you developing
Working
a?
on it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just asked. That's all.
Yeah, that's something we're working on, and actually developing right now. Kind of like a meal pack that people can buy. It's in like a test run phase, but it comes with like smoothies and some meals that are complete in a nutrition profile, and they're plant based and they are very macro friendly. So we're sort of testing that out right now on some people that we know just locally and like coworkers and people we see at the gym and to see if they like it and then trying to modify that. And we have a friend who's making it. So then that way, that was the other hard part was to be in the kitchen so long. We were just spreading ourselves too thin. So we really needed somebody to be able to cook the product and then we could spend time marketing it and then finding people to distribute it. So we're kind of learning from the past mistakes now, trying to kind of make it a little bit different and make it something that we can provide a service for, but then we can also continue to do the jobs that we have already. And so it's not so overwhelming.
Um, you have a nice physique. I was looking at your pictures. Like I kind of transitioned to bodybuilding. it's we gonna get back to the food thing, but I was looking. Well, it's kind of related. I mean, you have a nice sculpted body. Like how like what made you want to do bikini? What,
Yeah, I didn't know that there were other categories. I just kind of my friend Alex just said, "Hey, like you have this shape already, so we would just have to just bring you in leaner." And so that's kind of what we focused on. I could have, I am typically a little bit more lower body heavy, and so I considered wellness, but after kind of cutting away, we kind of saw that I didn't have that much as muscle mass in the lower body. And so in order to do that, you would have to grow a lot larger. And then also people who are professional wellness athletes, typically that's very hard to do naturally. And if you don't have, super great genetics necessarily, like predisposition for that, and typically to go pro, it's usually not something that's going to be a natural athlete. And I'm natural,
Yeah,
any enhanced drugs or anything like that, because my health is the most important thing.
right.
And so to me, bikini is something that is supposed to be that you could do within, anyone who wanted to do it potentially could have anywhere from a 2 to a 5 year transition to actually do bikini. And it should be doable for the majority of people if they would execute it properly. It's getting a little bit more muscular now, which is kind of cool. But hopefully not too crazy to where you can't still do it naturally. It just likely would take a little bit longer of a time to build the muscle, because there's only so much muscle you can actually build over a period of time scientifically.
Okay. Well, you have some comments. You have All the Rage, George Page, Evening Folks. You got Rolando G. Hey, Clyde, fitness, bodybuilder enthusiast. Hello, Sonya Brielle King. You look fantastic, very intelligent and fit woman. Great work you do. And
Thank
then All the Rage, George Page. He says bikini is more obtainable for some women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna look at your pictures, and I got some videos. Mm, yeah, very nice pictures.
thank you.
Mm. And I also did some videos. Yeah, you don't look that bad. That's the thing. I was looking at it, but what you was telling me, I kind of understand.
Right,
Maybe it's an eternal thing.
right.
But like it's
Outside is how you feel as well.
yeah, yeah, so,
And there was a time,
yeah,
I went up to almost 150 pounds, and I'm only 5'2", so that's a lot for my frame. Um, so right now I'm 110 pounds roughly, so that's a big difference. And it's also like for every like 4 or 5 pounds you have on your frame, that's more added pressure on your knees and your joints. It's
yeah,
really a big impact as well.
yeah. Women that you guys are more sensitive with the weight and stuff like that. So
Yeah, to me, it was never like necessarily a weight number that was my goal. It was a physique look and how I
okay,
felt. And just right now, I'm obviously cutting for shows, so I'm going to be, very lean. And my weight is going to get very low because of that. But that's only for a short period of time, because hormonally women should not be that low for too long. So we typically reverse out of that to a healthier body fat percentage. Typically athletes can, sustain really well between around 14 to 16% without any problem. When you compete on stage, you can get a bit lower than that. But you don't want to stay there for too long, because you want to be able, especially as women, to optimize your hormones. Those are very important.
yeah. I mean, is it always that tough to like with prep and dieting and stuff like that? Do what you do.
It is very hard. It is an extreme sport. So the majority of the people in the world cannot do this um, because it is extreme. But for me, I'm an extreme person, if you will. I always want to take it to the highest
Yeah,
level, even like with my education, I didn't want to settle. I wanted to go to the terminal degree. Where can I get the furthest education? That's just my mentality. And to me, if I want to make a change in the world, you got to be extreme. And I want to kind of practice what you preach and be the product. So to me, I live and breathe this, and this is how, me walking around and being able to meet people because of, my muscular structure and my physique. I then make connections, and then I can impact more people, and I can build my platform to have a larger and greater impact for people. So to me, that's so meaningful, because I want to help as many people as I can. So the more I can grow, the more people I can network and can meet, the more chance I have to do just that.
okay. You don't mind if I look? We go through your videos.
Sure.
I got some. All right. So I'm gonna check. Well, you got a lot. I don't wanna you don't wanna just flood it with the videos and stuff like that. But it's some nice pictures, videos and stuff. Um, like how often do you, I mean like what's your workout routine like competing and stuff?
So it changes based on the phase that I'm in, basically. Um, I would say right now I'm working out very frequently. I work out almost every day. Sometimes I take maybe 6 days a week. Um, just depends on my schedule with work. But I'm doing a lot. I'm doing 4 leg days a week now because I'm
Okay.
really trying to focus on the feedback that I got on my last show was I need more leg detail and to come in leaner with better conditioning in my lower body. So that's what I'm focusing on. Um, and so to me that's 4 leg days, and then I'm doing 2 shoulder days. When I just started training, I did a lot of biceps and triceps just naturally because I enjoyed that, and I did a lot of, and I'm quad dominant, so I always enjoyed doing quad work. So I don't really have to work on that as much right now. So the focus is trying to make improvements in the areas that I'm not as good in. And so that's what we're hammering out. My shoulders are pretty good. I got a lot of good feedback on that from the judges, and then I just need to match the conditioning from the upper body with the lower body. Um, and so that's what I'm honing in on now in my off season. It's not really off season. It's more so because if you want to be good at this sport, you have to kind of commit to it year round. But it's sort of improvement season, I like to say. So in improvement season, I usually back down maybe to 4 or 5 days a week of exercise because I'm pushing heavier weight. I have more calories. Then I have some more leniency to go and do activities and be outdoors and do different things just to have like active rest days, if you will, um, which I think is important. And then you can have a little bit of, better interactions with your family and friends. You can kind of, be more and be there, which is hard because, being in bodybuilding, it can be very consuming with your time. Um, and so that is a sacrifice that you have to understand. Uh, and so I enjoy being able to do in the improvement season because I can be able to kind of spend more time with family and friends and push heavy weights, which I like to do. And then, that's usually like a back day. I would do like back and shoulders. And then I would do legs, but maybe like split it up a little bit so I could do posterior chain, anterior chain, things like that. But majority of the time, it's a lot of shoulders and a lot of glutes and hamstrings. Because I've had the knee surgeries, I have a hard time and have had a hard time with developing that area and with the mind muscle connection with glute hamstring tie-in area. I have always just had a hard time getting my hamstrings to connect how I want them to. And so that's what I've really been focusing on, is trying to build that mind muscle connection, which I feel like I have that in a lot of other areas now. But that's one that I still struggle with a little bit. So I focus on a lot of unilateral work. So that way I also have a little bit of a deficit versus like left or right side with the surgeries that I've had. So trying to kind of even that out because symmetry is so important with bikini as well.
Okay.
And I'm doing cardio
Okay.
as well. My cardio is right now 45 minutes. I'm doing on the stairs. I keep cardio at a minimum in my improvement season because that way you can go ahead and escalate it as you go into prep.
Do you have like a family? Are you a mom or anything like that? Or
My parents are in Fort Myers. Um, my mom, Mary Jo, and my dad is Ralph. I'm an only child. Um, and then we actually are from New Jersey. Originally, we moved down here for me to go to college, and then I have a lot of kind of cousins, so they're sort of my siblings. I could kind of consider that. So I have a large extended family.
no, I was saying, are you a mother or
Oh,
your wife or
oh no, nope.
oh
I don't have any kids. My only child is a Chihuahua.
Oh,
um,
okay.
right
You're
now,
not the only one.
yeah, I'm a dog mom right now. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm actually I was divorced and then kind of restarting my life and moved from Fort Myers to Naples. So I'm sort of excited for this new chapter of my life. Everything seems to be moving in the direction and rebuilding the life that I really want to create.
Okay. Um, Always, Ronnie Coleman said it best. Everyone wants to be a bodybuilder, but don't want to lift that heavy ass weight. Yeah, I mean, I mean the stuff that you go through, like, I mean, I remember when, like years ago when I was like in my teens, I wanted to kind of have that bodybuilder look and stuff like that, even all the way to my 20s and 30s. But I don't know. I kind of transitioned into something else. I do meditation, qigong exercises, and all that stuff. But I knew that like it really, like the hard work was like trying to diet and all that stuff, like picking the right foods to eat and stuff like that. And like I remember like couple years back, I did like a nutrition class,
Mhm.
and trying to like take in all the information about how many foods, nutrition that's in the foods and stuff like that, absorbing it and stuff. Like for you, I mean, like how do you utilize it? Like how did you first utilize it? If I can answer that question for you.
How do I utilize food?
Like the information, like the nutrition and stuff, and
Yeah. Um,
what's
So I first sort of learned about macros, and that was a big game changer for me. I did research on okay, how can you carb cycle? How can you like how do you calculate your what macros you need to have? And this was all just done on my own. So I just decided I spent time at home, and I would be researching things and just learning about how how many so for how basically like grams of carbs and grams of protein and grams of fat and how much each person needs. How do you know how much each person needs? um, and so I also got into using my fitness pal so I could start to track food and see like what I was eating. And that was a big game changer for me because that made me realize, I'm gonna have different nutrient requirements than Shaquille O'Neal, obviously. So like we
yeah.
have different needs based on our energy expenditure, what we're doing throughout the day, how we work out, all of that. So to me, that was a big cornerstone in nutrition for me is like the macro application and being able to just sort of realize building well-rounded meals. I think that was the biggest thing is like typically we'll like if you just eat something, it's maybe just carb based or maybe just a lot of fat. So, and maybe it's low in protein. So just kind of realizing, okay, what am I eating now and how can I optimize that? And there are different equations that you can calculate. You can go and use, an online calculator to figure out what your energy expenditure is. And that's what I would do. And I started doing that for like friends and clients. And even just as a nurse, I was doing that. I'm like, hey, one of my nursing friends would be like, hey, I'm going to give you a little plan real quick. And then I just would practice on people. Um, and so I was always just kind of health and nutrition oriented. And I love learning. And so to me, I just want to know, okay, what's the next thing I need to know and understand to kind of enhance my game or enhance my understanding of how I can be better. Um, and I guess I'm sort of just driven that way. I like to push myself to my full extent because I want to see what I'm capable of. We only have one life, so I want to see what I can do with it. And to me, it's not just, about the physique just kind of comes along with it. It's more so how I feel and how I can impact people. And I realized I had to become the product for people to listen to me. Because, if I didn't look the way I do now, people likely wouldn't listen to me. So as unfortunate that is, that is what it is. So as I became more and had more muscle and I leaned out, people started noticing me, and then like, what are you doing, and then I could have these conversations that I wanted to have, and these meaningful moments with people that, okay, I can help change your life too.
Okay. Motivates George Page says, has Sonya considered being a nutritionist?
So I am a nurse practitioner with my doctorate. So I am not interested in doing that. I did my research on nutrition and I practice lifestyle medicine. So I prescribe food as medicine as a nurse practitioner. So I didn't really need to go that route. As far as I'm concerned, I do that with my medical degree that I have in as a nurse practitioner.
Okay. Like to bodybuilding, like how do you see like do you see yourself like doing bodybuilding for like the next 5 years or anything like that?
I want to do it as long as I can. I mean, I went to at my show. There was Masters Bikini on there, and they were 50-year-olds up there who looked phenomenal. And I was like, yeah, that's redefining what age is. Age is just a number, and really, I believe that it's just how you feel. And I'm such a proponent of quality of life, and I feel like we've, as a society, we have had such great advances in technology, but to what extent on the impact on our quality of life? Sure, we can keep you alive, but is that really good if your quality of life is so poor? So to me, I want to maximize that. And it's really, I feel better now in my 30s than I did in my 20s. And that's all because of how I've optimized my nutrition and my health. And so to me, I think that's so valuable because I think a principle that people don't understand is if you love someone or someone's important to you, you're willing to die for them, quote unquote, but are you willing to live for them? Are you willing to change your health and to optimize your health so you can actually be better in your own life? Because if you don't take care of yourself, how can you help others? So to me, it's always about filling your own cup so you can be the best person that you can be and succeed in whatever your niche is and to be able to have better quality relationships.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I used to work at McDonald's and like it was like somewhere in Fulton Street and a lot of people like they would like it'd be like a tons of people ordering food and stuff like that. Sometimes they'll come every day, the same people,
Mhm.
and they'll get the same thing, like, well, not, I don't know, the same thing, but they'll order, they'll come every day and stuff. And then it kind of made me think because all that grease and saturated fat and like what's your intake on that? Like, I mean, you probably did cover that.
It's unfortunate that the easy option is a bad option, right?
Yeah,
So it's, and I think blue zones is so important because they work on the environment and the culture that is. So it's, if we can change our environment to make it the easy decision and make the easy decision healthy, then it makes you more apt to choose that. And they actually went to a town in Ohio that they actually redid and revamped, like how the grocery store was set up for the checkout lines, how kids started walking to school together. The menus at the local restaurants were changed for healthier options. So they made the environment different for the people, and that's really what they found out in different areas: Okinawa, Japan, Loma Linda, California. There are different places around the world where people still, their how they actually in their environment and how they live is different. And so they go out and they actually go and catch fish, or they have to walk to the market, and then they actually spend hours cooking in the kitchen. And we just don't expend that energy anymore. We drive to McDonald's and then we drive home and
yeah,
on the couch. So the equation doesn't add up to where we're expending less energy, but we're consuming more calorie dense foods. And that's the problem, because it's also, obviously corporations, and things like McDonald's and fast food restaurants, they want you to come back, right? They want to make money. So
yeah,
they're going to make it as palatable as possible. So when you add sodium, you add fat, you add sugar, and all of that is going to be hyper palatable and going to make you crave more. Um, and it's a vicious cycle. And so it's really kind of, it's an addiction. And it's, there's research regarding that and how it changes your brain chemistry. And so it's really just once you stop eating those things as much, you realize how bad you feel. And then when you're eating clean, and then even for me, I used to eat a standard American diet. That's how I was raised. It's not that my parents, they provided food for me very well, but the problem was it necessarily wasn't healthy. And eventually that continued cycle caught up with me. And so I had to learn how to make a change with that. And I had to change my entire life and how I grew up and how I was taught to cook food and things like that. And that was not an easy process. But to me, it was worth doing for my quality of life. And really, because it was just an eye-opening moment for me. I was in my 20s and I was like, wow, this is what getting old feels like. Like
Yeah.
young in my 20s. So I just felt very poorly. And then you start to feel negative self-esteem and it just kind of spirals from there. Um, and so to me, just even when I eat something bad now, if I go and have French fries somewhere or whatever, I'm like, ooh, I don't really feel so great the next day. And it's that positive feedback, or I guess negative feedback in that regard, that I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that again. So, but then if I want to now and then, I can splurge because it's not going to impact me as much. But really, the desire isn't necessarily there because of how poorly I feel afterwards.
Well, I mean, I like you say food, but does it always have to be food? Like what about like being stressed out or anything like that? Or
That's really important too. I mean, my grandfather had a heart attack in his 40s from stress.
yeah,
So, he wasn't necessarily eating that bad, but the stress did it for him. So all of that, and that's been something that's important to me. I made that change too. I had an abundance of stress with my previous job, and to me, it just wasn't worth my health. So I started to practice meditation techniques and being
yeah,
able to be more mindful with that as well. And that has helped me a lot, just to try to stay more centered. Because I can find, if I find myself becoming more reactive to something, I try to bring myself back to center. Um, but that's not always easy, of course. But that's something that is just something everyone has to work on, just like food, just like exercise. It's just something at the daily practice. I think it's just about establishing and changing your routine. So now I'm so disciplined and it's such a part of my routine that I wake up and I want to go to the gym. I just wake up and like that's what my inclination and desire is now because I built that into myself. I didn't always have that though. I had to work on that and make that consistent over time. And I think doing bodybuilding really put that in perspective for me and built that into my lifestyle. I feel like this is my lifestyle now, actually. In comparison, before I felt like, oh, I can just skip the gym or I'll do whatever. And I wouldn't be as consistent on the weekends. I would go drinking, and I would eat whatever foods I wanted because after drinking, oh yeah, you want to go have McDonald's or Taco Bell. I mean, I would love Taco Bell too. So it's like you get those cravings for those things as well. Or if the next day you don't feel so good, then what do? You go and eat because you don't feel good. And then it's even a vicious cycle from there on. Um, and so to me, it was just putting a stop to that cycle. And I think making that decision to compete gave me those months of discipline and consistency that I really felt. I didn't really drink that much during that time. And my food was so consistent. I did have some cheat meals and things like that built into my program. But the funny thing is, I had those things built in last prep. This prep, I don't feel the desire for those things as much. I'm more easily able to say no to things just because it doesn't serve me or I don't even want it because it doesn't make me feel good. So I think the more and more I do it, the better I get at it. And so I think that's just a message for a lot of people is, you're not going to be perfect, but it's just consistency over time. And that period of time is long because it's like how long
yeah,
does it take you to get unhealthy? Probably a lot of years, right? So it's going to take you a few years to kind of reverse that. And though the unfortunate thing is people want everything now. It's immediate gratification. This is delayed gratification. Bodybuilding taught me delayed gratification because you have to trust the whole process, right? So you have to understand that what you're doing now and you're going through hard things, but you have to make it through all the way. And it's that delay of gratification, stepping on stage and being like, wow, I did this. that's so rewarding. But that's not something that's necessarily built into us in society. We want everything now.
Yeah. Always George says, so what are her plans for this season? Did you say that, covered that, or?
I don't think so. So I will be competing August 12th. That's my next show. And then I'm looking to get feedback after that. If I qualify for nationals, that will be great. If I don't, then I'll see what I need to do as far as if I need to start to rebuild a little bit of muscle, because after cutting for this show, I don't really want to cut further than this. So I would probably go into a lean bulking, if you will, just trying to add a little bit more muscle to the areas that the judges think. Largely, that's going to be glute and hamstrings for me. And that just takes a period of time. So I'll do the August 12th show. And then if I qualify for nationals, great. And then I might consider going to nationals. But I'm not the person that wants to just go to nationals just to go. I want to go and I want to be competitive. I want to go when I'm ready. And so that's important to me. So I think that, I just want to go. I want to go and be the best that I can be. And so if I'm not ready, that's okay. And I'll just take a little bit more time to build a little bit more muscle. Because also if you build a little bit more muscle in those areas, you don't necessarily have to cut down as far with leanness, because the muscle will be there earlier. So you'll be able to see those details better.
Okay. He also says sugar is like crack.
Mhm. Yeah, it's honestly
Yeah.
just better to, like, once you start cutting things out and avoiding things, it's so much easier just not to have it, so then you're not
Yeah.
craving it.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, I've listened to other bodybuilders. They try to avoid sugar mostly, and they just eat like certain foods that I don't think I would want to just constantly eat,
Yeah.
because it's a discipline, It's to piggyback, like with there was this bodybuilder I was talking to, and she was discussing about how she got a stroke, and because she was like overworking and stuff like that. Like she's like a fitness trainer, and
Mhm.
so she got stressed out, and so I just shared it because
Yeah. It is a lot, but for me, I think it's important that, like, you can make healthy versions of the things that you already enjoy, and so I'm a big proponent of that, and
mhm,
also there are a lot of varieties of things that you can do. It's just knowing how to implement them, and that's what I love to do and to teach people to do, because I'm a big foodie. I love food. So I want it to taste good and I want it to be sustainable for me, or else I'm not going to be able to do it. So that's something that I am very much, that's very important to me. It has to be sustainable, or else you're not going to do
yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. I mean, you have any departing words for the viewers or anything like that?
it. I think it's just important to really, if you want to achieve something, whatever your goal is, um, discipline is so important. You're not always going to be motivated necessarily. But if you focus on establishing a routine that can work for you in whatever capacity that is, that's important. We all typically have very busy lives. But it's, what do you want to make a priority for your life? Because if you don't make it a priority, who else is? Right? So if you want something, you have to do it for yourself. And I think that that's important, that, like, people need to realize, take charge of your life and move it in the direction that you want to go. Um, and for me, I didn't ever thought I would be here where I am today. I'm very thankful and grateful that I am. And I just hope that I can positively impact more people as we continue on this journey. And I just really appreciate you taking the time to interview me, so that way I can continue to spread the word about health and nutrition, and being able to help people. And I'm always here if anyone ever wants to reach out. I answer questions all the time. This is what I love to do. This is my passion. I'm a people person. I want to help people, and that's just an innate drive in me. And it's not something that I do to get something out of anyone else. It's just I'm always looking to help people, even if it's at my own expense. And that's just how I am. Maybe I'm a nurse,
That's good.
how I'm driven, you know.
No, that's good. Appreciate you taking the opportunity. So good luck to you. You
Well,
know.
thank you so much. I hope you have a great evening, and thank you everyone
All
for
right.
tuning in.
All right, folks. That's a wrap.
All right, bye.
Bye.